Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel Season and Serve blog. My name is Melissa and today we are kicking off my Thanksgiving series here on YouTube, and this year I'm going to be making a classic Thanksgiving feast. In this video I'll be showing you how to make a classic Thanksgiving turkey that is really juicy, as well as a savory turkey gravy that goes great with the turkey itself and all your favorite Thanksgiving sides. And I know cooking a Thanksgiving turkey may seem like a very daunting task, especially if you haven't done it before, but it's a lot easier than you think, and I'll be sharing all my tips in order to achieve the best Thanksgiving turkey and gravy ever. So if you want to see how to make a classic Thanksgiving turkey and gravy, just keep on watching. We'll start off by making our classic Thanksgiving turkey, and this recipe has all of the traditional Thanksgiving flavors that you love. This is what my turkey looks like this year. It's about 10 pounds, and we're going to prepare it the day before Thanksgiving so that we can dry brine it. And this brining process will actually help the moisture stay in the turkey so that it's nice and juicy when it's cooked. And to do this, all I'm doing is combining some sea salt along with some fresh herbs. I'm using about 6 leaves of sage and 2 sprigs of thyme. And I'm going to mix and grind these ingredients together until the salt is nice and smooth and is a light green color, just like this. Now we'll set the herb salt aside for now and we'll prepare our turkey. Now my turkey came with the neck and the giblets, so I'm going to remove that from the cavity, and make sure you do that if your turkey came with that as well. And then I'm going to take the herb salt and sprinkle it all over the turkey, making sure to get the front, the back, and also adding some on the inside of the cavity as well. Use your hands to rub it all over the turkey so that it's in a nice even layer. Then we'll simply transfer the turkey to the refrigerator and let it sit in there uncovered for 24 hours. Make sure it's also in a baking dish because there will be juices that leak out of it. Another great thing to prepare the day before Thanksgiving is the turkey stock, and we're going to use this to make our savory turkey gravy tomorrow. To make this, I'm chopping up some aromatic vegetables including carrots, celery, and onion. Now to make a really great base for the gravy, we are going to brown the turkey neck. And if you want to use the giblets in here, you can, but for me it kind of grosses me out. I don't know why, but at least I use the neck. So we're going to add some olive oil to a pan, add the turkey neck, and brown that on all sides. Once it's brown, add all the aromatic vegetables that we chopped up earlier to the pan and let those brown on all sides as well. Then we're going to top it off with some water, adding just enough to cover all the vegetables. I'm also adding a fresh bay leaf for flavor, along with some black peppercorns and a couple sprigs of parsley just to brighten up the flavors. Now my ultimate secret for making any sort of stock or gravy is to add a little bit of this better than bouillon. This is the chicken base and it works perfectly in this turkey gravy, but this adds a little bit more flavor and deliciousness to the stock. Once all these ingredients have been added and have come to a simmer, cover the pot, making sure to leave a little gap to let the steam escape, and then cook this for about an hour. At this point you'll have a really nice turkey stock, but we're going to reduce it just to intensify the flavor a little bit. So I turn this on to boil and let it reduce about 1 inch in the pot just to concentrate the flavors. Then I'll simply pass the stock through a strainer just to remove any debris, and then we'll cover that and place that in the refrigerator for tomorrow. Another component of this recipe that we can make the day before Thanksgiving is the herb butter, and this herb butter is going to go under all the skin of the turkey, and again this will make it super juicy and add lots of flavor. So I'm using about 1 cup of butter, adding in some fresh thyme leaves and some chopped sage, and then simply mixing that all together. I'm also adding in some fresh ground pepper. We're going to add about 2 teaspoons because it is a large turkey and we want this to be really nicely flavored. And simply mix everything to combine and put it in the refrigerator overnight. Now on Thanksgiving Day, the turkey will be perfectly brined and we are going to transfer this into a roasting pan. So I have this really beautiful all-clad pan with a rack in it, and I love this for roasting turkeys. So I'm taking the turkey from the tray that it was in earlier and placing it on the rack. And then I'm going to bend the wings back behind the turkey. This just makes the turkey look really nice and also prevents the wingtips from burning. And when you're bending the wings back, make sure that you use a little bit of force. It does require some power to bend the wings fully behind the bird, but you will kind of feel it click into place and it'll be perfect for roasting. Next, I'm using a paper towel to pat the entire turkey dry, and notice that I didn't rinse the turkey off. We do want to keep all that brine and the salt on there because it adds so much flavor and we don't want to rinse that away. After resting in the fridge overnight, it should be relatively dry, but there may be some excess moisture, so make sure everything is completely dry. In addition to the dry brine from earlier, these aromatic vegetables that are going into the cavity of the turkey will also keep it really nice and juicy. And to start, I'll add 2/4 of a large yellow onion, followed by a whole head of garlic with the top chopped off so all the aromatics can come out of the garlic. Then I'm also adding some fresh sprigs of sage and thyme, followed by the remaining 2/4 of the onion. I think this is a perfect stuffing for the turkey. I really prefer doing this as opposed to putting bread stuffing in there because you don't really have to worry if these vegetables are fully cooked because you're not going to be eating them. Next up is my favorite part of making a turkey, and that is putting the butter under the skin. Now, this may be a little bit slimy and weird, but it is a great step and also ensures that the turkey will be nice and juicy when it's cooked. So to get under the skin, you kind of have to break through an initial membrane at the base and then use your fingers and ultimately like your whole hand at some points to get under the turkey skin and separate it from the meat. And make sure you do this really gently and take your time doing this because you don't want to tear the skin. We'll do that on both sides of the turkey breast, and then we're going to stuff it with butter. To start, I'm taking about 1/4 of the herb butter mixture and placing it under the turkey breast on one side. And I'll use my hand to kind of spread it out between the meat and the skin, making sure that it's in a nice even layer. This initial one I like to try to push more towards the back of the breast, and then I'll come in with another 1/4 of the butter mixture and then repeat the process, making sure the breasts are fully coated in the butter. And then I'll just repeat that on the second breast. And I typically just put the butter under the breast, but if you want, you can get in between the leg meat and skin and put that there as well. But I find the leg meat is typically still pretty juicy, so I don't bother doing that. Now, just a few final steps before we get this turkey in the oven. All we have to do is drizzle it with olive oil and spread it around. The olive oil will help it brown really nicely and evenly. Then we're going to truss the turkey by tying it up. I use 100% cotton string for this, and I hook the string behind the breasts, bring it under the legs, and then tie the legs together. And then we'll trim any string, and then we'll get this all wrapped up for the oven. Now, sadly, I did lose my footage of me wrapping the turkey itself, but I hope you appreciate this reenactment of me putting it in the oven. But essentially, wrapping the turkey in the parchment paper and the tin foil, at least for the first hour of cooking, will help keep all of the moisture in so that you have a nice, juicy turkey. After an hour of baking, it is not going to look pretty, but just simply remove the parchment paper and the tin foil and then bake it uncovered for 30 minutes. After the half hour in the oven uncovered, the turkey skin will start to become brown, and now we're going to begin basting it. And at this point, there won't be too many juices in the bottom of the pan, so we're going to add about 1 cup of turkey stock that we made earlier, and we'll begin basting the turkey. You can use a turkey baster for this, or you can use a large spoon or ladle. Once the turkey's been basted, return to the oven and cook for another 30 minutes, and then repeat this basting process. Every time it comes out of the oven, it'll be a more even brown, and it is going to look delicious. And after about 2 hours of cooking time, I like to start taking the temperature, and I insert it between the thigh and the leg, and as you can see, this is reading a little bit too low at 130 degrees, and we want it to be at 160 for when we remove it from the oven. So this is going to cook a bit longer, and as you can see, the top of the turkey is getting a little bit brown, so to prevent that from burning, I'm going to add a nice loose piece of tin foil on top just to prevent that from happening. Once the turkey reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit, remove it from the oven, and we're going to let this rest. During that resting time, it'll come up to 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and that'll be the perfect temperature for when a turkey is cooked. We'll remove the turkey from the pan and cover it with aluminum foil, and in the meantime, we'll make our gravy. To start off the gravy, I'm adding 1/4 cup of butter to a small pot, and then I'm adding 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. This is going to make a roux, which is going to thicken the gravy. I'll let the roux cook for about 2 minutes until the flour smells nice and toasty, and then we're going to add 3 cups of the turkey stock that we made earlier. Whisk that to combine until there's no lumps, and now we're going to enhance the flavor by adding the pan drippings. Pour all of the drippings from the turkey roasting pan into a heat-proof pitcher and let this separate. And as it sits, you can see the fat separates on top and the turkey juices stay in the bottom. Then all you have to do to remove the fat is simply just slowly pour it off into another pitcher, and that's it. You can leave a little bit of fat on there, or you can spoon the extra bit off with a spoon, but I like to have a little bit of fat in there just for extra flavor. As a final step, I'm going to pass the turkey juices through a strainer just to remove any lumps and to ensure that we have a smooth gravy. And as you can see, this is such a beautiful dark brown color. Make sure you get every single drop of this out because it's going to add so much flavor to the turkey base. At this point, just simply put it back on the stove and heat it over low heat to keep it warm, and you can even reduce it to achieve your desired thickness. While the gravy is simmering away and thickening up, we can go ahead and carve the turkey. I didn't record my carving process, but essentially all I do is remove the legs, then the breasts and the wings, and then I cut the breasts up into nice pieces, and then I arrange it in a nice serving platter just like this. To brighten up this platter and to add a little pop of color, I'm garnishing it with some fresh bay leaves from my garden. You can use fresh bay leaves or even sage leaves if you have those as well. All you have to do to serve the savory turkey gravy is to pour it into a gravy boat and then bring it to the table when it's nice and warm. I guarantee that if you follow this recipe, you will be so amazed and all your guests will be impressed on how juicy and delicious this turkey and gravy are. It is truly so amazing and has all those great traditional Thanksgiving flavors that everyone knows and loves. And that's it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed watching me make my classic Thanksgiving turkey and gravy. And as always, the full recipes with all the measurements and directions will be posted to my blog, and I'll leave that linked in the description box below. Also, make sure you stay tuned for next week where I'll be sharing some of my favorite classic Thanksgiving side dishes. You're not going to want to miss that, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to enjoy the best of the season every day.